Alrighty, Dragon Ball Super players. We're live here at Pro Play Games. Tournament Power. Case Tournament. We're back. Dragon Ball Super Grind. I know most of you who have been following our Twitch have been seeing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh content lately. Yu-Gi-Oh in a pretty good spot right now, and Dragon Ball back on top with Tournament of Power. Super fun cards, brand new set. We're going to see the impact of these powerful new cards in today's meta with none other than Marcel Russell, Mr. #1 ranked in the world for Dragon Ball Super card game. All through the 7 premier events, I believe, that have been held at this very moment. So shout out to him. Fantastic player. Of course, a PPG sponsored player. And we're going to see him pilot his trusty Vegeta deck, which is not new, but it does have some new cards, most likely. I mean, I could only imagine, right? What's up, Scotch? Thank you guys for joining us on this lovely evening. This is the second release week of Tournament of Power, so you're going to have a decent amount of creativity. We saw a lot of premier events already being hosted all over. California having a team battle. There's been a lot of posts online about like what's been doing well at their local metas and stuff. Nothing too premier, but there's been, obviously some coordinated events all over the United States, because we are the only ones with this set so far. I don't believe Europe or any other country has this set, other than Canada. I think Canada has it. But we're gonna see some unique decks, as you see from here. Corey playing a Cell deck with the Maidens, which actually doesn't seem so bad. I mean, you have Create Android, which you see there in his energy, being able to get those Maidens to the yard and then successfully resolve one of those Maiden transformations for 2 Maidens, which is just about the most powerful effect that you can get out of this deck. Most powerful interaction by far. But then you have Marcel Russell to the left here, looking like he's sticking with the new Foreseeing hit from Tournament of Power, and that's a brand new card. We're going to see exactly how that comes into play, because that is something very, very powerful. Being able to look at 2 cards in your opponent's hand and just rip them away from them for about a turn is just extremely, extremely powerful, especially when you're going for game. A great finisher. It does have Double Strike 2, I believe. So the impact of that card in an aggressive deck like Marcel's, I think it's going to be something that Corey's going to be on the lookout for, because the game plan of holding super combos against Marcel's deck might not be the most wise thing to do. So we're going to see exactly how this goes here. I'm sorry, I'm super behind on life, guys. Marcel at 4 here. And Corey, what looks like 4 here as well. Alright, so Marcel going in here with the Kaba. He's going to go 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 35, 45. And Corey's going to decide to flip here on the attack. We actually have some pretty cool counters that we're going to actually try out on stream and see how they look like. Because there are some combo dice that one of our good friends on the Dragon Ball Super card game group sent us. But I don't know if... I don't know how significant they will be, but I'll see. I'll give them a try. I'll give them to the next, or in between this match, I'll give it to them. Marcel Russell here down with a Scientist Fu. Scientist Fu, one of the most one of the most standout cards from the new, the most recent tournament pack 3. And Marcel's just going in here because he does have lethal on board. Corey did choose to take that too. And he's going to go and... he's going to go and try to defend this. Not sure if it's possible. Marcel throwing his whole hand on the board. And Corey stuck with 3 events in his hand. So that's not going to work out for him. They're going to go shuffle up for game 2. They're going to go in sideboard. We're going to go and get him those dice though. So we'll be right back. Alright guys, so as these guys get shuffled up for game 2, what do you guys want to see today? Because there's a bunch of unique decks out there. I tried to get one of the more unique ones here in Corey's. And I felt like Marcel bringing back Vegeta was like a huge thing too, so that's why we decided to go with these 2 for the first matchup. Marcel obviously #1 player in the world also here, so that had a little bit of influence on it. And Corey, a faithful of PBG, loves his local game store. Rocking a team jersey, but team jacket, but not on the team. One of his relatives is actually on the team. He's just borrowing their apparel, but he loves PBG and he loves rocking anything with him. So really appreciate his support and his dedication. He loves the game. He's actually very, very young. He's like 13 or 12, I forgot. But super enthusiastic about the game, loves playing Dragon Ball Super, and actually one of the more talented, young kids that we've had come into the store. He actually took like 3rd place with this deck a few days ago, so he's been begging for a deck profile. We've been super busy, but I think we're gonna try to get that in today for him. I know it'd make his day, so. Anyways, while we're here waiting, shout out to DBS decks. They are sponsoring this stream. They are fantastic. If you guys have not checked out DBS decks yet, I highly suggest you do. Great database for decks, deck builder. It's even really cool because it can make you a deck sheet, like one of those deck sheets that you have to like fill out when you go to an event. You can essentially just make your deck on DBS decks, and then there's a little format where you can just be like, print this out in, you know, PDF form or whatever the case is, and it'll give you a printable version with everything already, like the card number, it's like typed out. It's a dream come true for tournament organizers like us, because there is no confusion on like, what does this say? Like, this person's handwriting is so bad, what does this actually say? Wow. So Corey here with, let's call it the Kawasu of Universe 3? I'm sorry, I'm so bad with these universes, and I watched the show, I promise you. Universe of Love. Let's call it Universe of Love. But Universe of Love, finding him a Brienne, one of the maidens, to his hand, the 2-drop, which also looks at the top for a maiden squadron. So this Kawasu searches for a universe, the same universe on the top 3, and the other one's a little bit more specific, but looks at the top 7 for a maiden. So we're gonna see Marcel here out the gates, just Champa, Vegeta, take 2 crit. And that's pretty good for players like Marcel, because that's closer to what you want to do. You know, your opponent's not seeing those cards, and that is literally the best thing that can happen for you, because they really don't have much incentive to block, because it is so early in the game and they don't want to lose too much advantage. And Corey resolving this Brienne that we were talking about, searching its ultimate form, which is pretty good. For 3, it evolves, it has barrier, and shoots a card on field or in hand, I believe. So pretty good value on that card. We'll see if Corey can resolve it here against a very aggressive Vegeta deck. Apologize for that glare though, that corner is really bad. We'll see if we can move everything to the other side, but we'll see how Marcel chooses to play out his second turn here. He's going to go and crit himself down to 6. And he's going to charge a Mighty Mask. So he's playing the Mighty Mask engine. He's going to go and resolve another Mighty Mask that he had in hand. And he's not even going to attack here, which is pretty unique. Corey here at 6. It would have been actually pretty good to get him down to 5 and then double strike him, but Marcel does have a leader swing here, so that's I could only assume that he's going to go ahead and try to do that. But he's going to search the Unyielding Spirit Trunks, which is the untapped Trunks, and a Sun Goten, just a vanilla, you know, the same one he has in energy. It has it's nothing but a name and a blue energy. You can only assume that Marcel's deck is primarily red and just has a splash of blue for cards like Senzu Bean. But we'll see here as he plays an Unyielding Spirit Trunks to untap an energy and crit one of Corey's life away. So Corey's going to go down to 5, which is exactly where Marcel wants him to be, because now he's only a mirror away, or any double striking crit enabler away from just putting Corey at a 3 life count, which is actually very powerful, because that's exactly where you want to put them. 3's really deadly. All it takes is one swing from 3 to 2, and then a double striker is just game. So that's why usually players want to avoid the 3. It's just very devastating. So we'll see if Corey has enough experience against this Vegeta deck to actually know what what's the best case scenario for Marcel and try to play around that, because if you put him in the situation that he wants to be in, then it's not going to be a very easy game for you. And Corey thinking long and hard about this turn. That speedy surprise attack as a charge, I don't know if I totally agree with it, honestly, from Corey also. The thing is, with speedy surprise attack, you're able to not only negate attack, but also destroy a card that's 2 or less, or 3 or less, I believe. But him opting to charge the negate to get the TN, to play the create android, which is going to discard a TN, which is a good discard. I think that card is completely dead in this matchup. So is that increasing evil mass Saiyan that Corey has in his hand. So I see where he's coming from. He wants to cycle through his deck, and very smart move by Corey, passing the turn with a bunch of energy up, because he's going to need it for whatever Marcel's planning to do this turn. The only thing that I probably would have done different is maybe attacked Marcel here. Maybe even twice. But Marcel's going to go down to 5 here. It's inevitable with these self-awakening leaders that they will eventually self-awaken. They will eventually crit themselves into a position where they're going to start out grinding you. But you know, you just gotta make that decision on like when is the best time to do that. Which may differ. It really does just differ. Another Champa here, put down quarter 3, which is what we were talking about. This is the ideal situation. Marcel thinking long and hard here, because he's got his opponent exactly where he wants him, but he's going to pass with 2 energy up, which tells you a lot of things. Tells you that Marcel has some type of countermeasure here. He is at 5, so he might want to defend himself to stay at 5 life, because with self-awakening leaders, he can go ahead and take away that last life that he needs to awaken, and that way he's actually at 4 on the awakened side, instead of just having, you know, Vegeta with, you know, stuck at 5, which is what people normally try to do. They try to like stall you into the position where you have like 5 life, and then they won't let you awaken, because the leader would not have that that type of like ability of being able to just hit itself down to the perfect number that it wants to be at. But Vegeta has that flexibility. So normally you would stall your opponent in this position, but because Marcel's playing a leader like Vegeta that has that ability, then it's actually the best to just beat them to the punch, per se, and just start attacking them, especially taking advantage of their leader only being at 10,000. A double strike from Corey here would be fantastic. I don't know if he's playing Champa, but if he does, great time to do it here. You saw a Mass Saiyan in his hand, which he might just have to play. I mean, the Mass Saiyan with double strike, sometimes, especially against decks like Marcel, which are leader decks, you know, like they're just playing off the ability of how strong their leader is. Sometimes you just have to go and play cards like that without getting their abilities, which is what Corey's gonna have to like figure out and do. He has a few options here. He's looking at Trunks Power Overseeing Time, which would be another great card to play here, because not only does he get a card back from his yard, but he's gonna be able to go and hit him with double strike, and he's going to go and choose to take this turn to summon the Ultimate Foreign Ribrianne from the Universe of Love. And I believe that has the ability of hitting a card from Marcel's hand, or am I just completely wrong on that effect? Oh, KOs, okay. Oh, and we have two other, okay. Okay, so it does have, it does choose up to 2 cards from your opponent's hand if you have the other maidens, but otherwise, if you don't have the other maidens, it just is able to KO. Yeah, KO and 25 barrier. So we're gonna see how Marcel takes his turn. Marcel wasn't able to do anything with his energy last turn, by the way. So that was a great pass by Corey. He was still able to 1, keep up an energy, 2, play a significant threat on board, and 3, just not let Marcel utilize his energy for any of his plays. You saw there was a bunch of Unbreakable Spirit Suns and Raging Spirit Sun Gohans in his hand. He wasn't able to play any of those on board, and that would have been really difficult for Corey to deal with multiple threats. Now Marcel's going to have to play a threat of his own, Insane Kaba, awaken himself, flip on the combo, and just play out his cards here. Good thing is here, though, if he does choose to crit himself with the Vegeta, he's going to have to take a life. So that's the best thing that can come of this. But that was some pretty good insight by Corey on when to attack and when not to attack, and that was good. Most people would have attacked. He has 4 super combos in hand. But Marcel, he's known to keep a pretty thick Bible in hand, and I don't think he has it so far, but Marcel just went up to 30 on this double strike. Corey's at 3 here, so you could imagine that he does want to defend this, but Corey has the tools to do it. See, if this is only 30, then Corey only has to shoot two of those super combos out, which is good because those super combos are just gonna prevent Marcel from further comboing, because it's gonna take away some combo power from Marcel, which is one of the best, because like Vegeta wasn't really around when the super combo got printed. Like, it wasn't really being played. We didn't see any of the impact on like the big scene. And now you have these super combos, which we're gonna see exactly how significant they are against a deck like Vegeta, which really needs to utilize almost every single card in their deck, really, to just grind out a win by being this type of very aggressive deck. And Corey's gonna force a Majin Buu out here, and then Corey's gonna go and play that second super combo and force out a Sensu Bean from Marcel, which is something that he doesn't want to be throwing away. That Majin Buu, I don't think Marcel cared about too much, but that Sensu Bean was something pretty big that I think Marcel would have liked to have to further extend his plays. And there's going to be a Scientist Fu down here for Marcel, and that's he's just going to laugh at those super combos, because he's going to go and draw 2 super combos of his own. And now it's looking pretty bad for for Corey, because now he's going to have to stare down a Scientist Fu, which just got Marcel 2 super combos. And it's just something that is outrageous here, or outrageously good. By the way, those that Vegeta leader case, you can find that on our Facebook page, Facebook store actually. It's actually an altered Dolken art, I believe. So you can actually get it on there. I think Nick Parenti is the one that makes them. So if you guys want to request like a new art that we don't have, then you can go and contact him. I'm gonna actually put his name on the chat here, so you guys can Facebook message him if you want some requests, maybe some new Tournament of Power leaders, maybe some leaders like Broly, for example. A lot of people have come in store and actually wanted them. I told him to just contact him. He's very good at getting those manufactured. The foiling is actually much better than the other versions I've seen on the Dragon Ball Facebook group. This is actually one of the more high quality foilings, so I think he got the formula right. So definitely hit him up if you want anything. But we do have some of like the set 1, set 2 leaders on our Facebook store, so if you like those, you can go ahead and purchase those. We actually package them in like a leader case, so you get a free leader case and you get the card, so it's like a nice little package deal. Alright, Marcel Russell here, choosing to go all in on his scientist foo, and I believe that Corey should be at 2. I'm sorry, guys. Corey is most likely at 2. There's no way that Marcel's going all in here. Oh yeah, I think he hit with the Vegeta and we missed that. Corey took the Vegeta, which I don't even know if he really committed too much to. Probably didn't. But Marcel trying to figure out how to use these combo dice. They're called over 9,000 dice, by the way. I'm gonna put them on the chat. It is over 9,000 dice on Facebook. They also have over 9,000 dice at gmail.com if you want to contact them. But unfortunately, too small to see on screen. I really wish that was something significant that we can see. But Marcel taking it here in powerful fashion. 2-0. Great job by #1 ranked player in the world, Marcel Russell, bringing back his favorite leader, Vegeta. He lives and dies by this deck, guys, by the way. If you followed Marcel from the beginning of his inception, his majestic run through the Dragon Ball Super Regionals, you can see that his maneuvering of Vegeta is actually one of the most unique ever. But pretty good. And Corey here, it's a pretty unique deck, but it just got steamrolled by something that was very aggressive and something that's very it's very hard to beat, just even with like standard decks, to be honest. I'm actually curious to see how Marcel's deck is going to do against like other Veggie decks, because that would be really cool to see. What we'll see as Marcel goes into the 6 rounds of Swiss that we have today. So we have about 40 players in today's tournament. That's 6 rounds of Swiss. That is a cut to a top 8. So we're going to see exactly who makes it in that top 8. We have some pretty big names here. And what type of decks make it. Because Tournament of Power brought a lot of unique things that you can play in just like standard. You don't even have to play one of the new like Tournament of Power leaders. Sometimes you can just play something as standard as Vegeta from set 1 like Marcel did, and just play cards like Foreseeing Hit and stuff like that, which are really, really cool abilities, because they're not really restricted by like what you can and can't play. Like sometimes a lot of the cards from that set, not a lot, but I want to say like 50% of them say if your leader is a universe whatever, if you have another universe whatever card in play, etc, etc. So it's really cool how you can actually just like play some of those in other decks. Like Corey, for example, also he was able to play Ribrianne in Cell. So you don't really need to commit your whole deck to just being that archetype. You can just like splash that in to something that was already good and just make it that much better. So Tournament of Power bringing a lot of value to those who just started and just want to play the game and they want to build a deck from Tournament of Power. That's easy to do. That if you saw our battle series on PPG, you have Peter and Alejandro just playing with decks that solely made from Tournament of Power. Or you can go, if you had cards already before, like Corey and Marcel, they just added them to their existing decks, maybe made them better, or maybe just made them borderline, tier 1. Which we'll see, because Corey's deck, I've seen a few alterations online. And as far as Marcel's, I haven't seen anything like it thus far. So we'll see exactly how that works out. And Marcel here taking our mat for some reason. Not sure why he's taking our mat. But he's going to put it back. Thank you guys again for watching. We're going to